All right, let me share my screen. All right. So they are the trig part. What we're gonna cover is the next part about trig. But sometimes we haven't covered. I missed few things. I look at through AP exam. I missed few things in first couple section that will be tested. But I'm gonna go back and cover that later because those are very insignificant. But there's something that I want to cover is average rate of change. Um, we already talked about average rate of change. Do you guys remember? Robert, were you taking on a test? Did you take a test on Friday? What's the average rate of change? Slope of something, right? So for example, if I ever give you a function and they say average rate of change, so that's something that's very important. Even in calculus, I will ask you average rate of change. But this is algebra 1 concept. A lot of people don't remember what it termed by average rate of change. So let me go to explain to you. So there's something that every day I'm going to cover a little bit something that from before that we should have covered, but that's fine. It's just on a little bit. So today we just want to talk about average rate of change. Okay. I want to make sure everybody knows certain concept. This concept is actually kind of important for you to get. Why is it updated? Come on. I don't want to update this. Oh shit. Let's say update now. Give me a second. Let me see. Let's see if it works. Sorry, I need an update. Okay, so let's just start with the function equal to x squared. I don't want to give it too complex, just f of x equal to x squared. I want to find the average rate of change between 2 to 5. Now, if I ask you on the test question, you got to be able to do that. Ian, stand up. Ian, I need to talk to you before you leave. So f of x is equal to x squared. What's the average rate of change between 2 to 5? Check each other what I get.
Remember we did 1.2 minus 1. So like instead of x1, you get 2 and 5 for your x's, you just plug it in. And you get 2.
Michael, do you know how to find average rate of change?
And then you just do 25 minus 4 over 5.
Check with Emily, Lena.
formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And he gave us the two x values, which is 2 and 5. So your x2 would be 5, and your x1 would be 2. And then now you have to find the y values, and to find the y values, you have to plug in the 5 and then 2 into the x. So then 2 times 2 squared is 4, and 5 squared is 5, 24. You write it because the 5 is your, or I mean, it doesn't really change it, but actually, yeah.
Katie and Andrew, I want you guys to switch seat because I know you work well with McKenna. So go ahead and switch over. McKenna, you gotta help her. Annika, can you responsible those two? Do they know what they're doing? It's not y to the second power, y is Seven, correct. Make It doesn't matter which order, long as you keep consistency. So Merly says doesn't matter. It's like y2 minus y1 or x2 minus x1. It doesn't matter which one you use. If you keep the same consistency, then you should get the same answer. It should get always positive 7 rather than negative 7. I'm still waiting for my thing to update, but those are average rate of change. One of the things that they will very commonly ask, instead of asking you slope on SAT or on AP Pre-Calc or on AP Calculus, is one question that doesn't matter which subject you go to, they will ask you average rate of change. Average rate of change, all you gotta do is find slope. Now, something that I never did talk about before, but I'm gonna talk about it now. On your pre-calculus can happen as well. On AP pre-calculus can happen. On your AP calculus can happen. So 3 situations that can happen. Even in maybe in chemistry, in certain specs of situation, you are gonna find average rate of change. One of the most important concepts in Algebra 1 that they teach you, but you guys do forget them. So I'm still 1/4 updated. So those are the things that you need to know, average rate of change. Today's homework, I will ask you what's average rate of change. Every test from now on, I'm going to ask you average rate of change, because that's one question will be on any subject that you goes to, and then things like that. So that's first part, average rate of change. Now, the second part, I think I ignore on the first part is trying to recall which one I ignore. Dilation. Do you guys remember the word dilation? Because I didn't teach you. So if you have says 2 to the f of x, right? So remember this graph. Let me see if I can find a marker. Let me get a marker here. Because my iPad's not starting. You know how to find arbitrary change? And you gotta tell me you don't know. The arbitrary change is y to the number of y over x minus x. So f of x is equal to, I don't know, it doesn't matter what function it is, x squared minus 3x minus 1, right? So what is f of the x minus 1? What does this graph do? If this is this graph, what does this graph do this one? Okay, so it's translation, right? 1, right? Does that make sense? Because inside a parenthesis is x minus 1. You take inside a parenthesis, you set it equal to 0, that means 1. So it's opposite. Inside a parenthesis is always opposite. One of the things I will test you at SAT is called transformation. You should learn this in algebra 2. Now, what does this one do? And ask you it. I'm gonna ask somebody that I don't think they know. Marty?
Left 2 down 4.
So you proved me wrong. So left 2 down 4, right? So this is gonna have a vertical translation of down 4 and horizontal translation of left 2. Is that okay? Now what happens if you have this? What's the negative 4 do? So I don't know what the negative 4 do.
Doesn't it like dilute it?
It does. So I talked about before, this is a move right 1, right? And this is up 2. But this negative, first negative is going to be a negative means reflections. But a 4, I call it stretch value, right? But in AP exam, they don't call it stretch. So you're going to have to learn new word called dilation. So it's dilation factor of 4. So it dilates 4 units. Dilate, that means everything expanding bigger. It's actually by 4. So make sure you know that word on AP exam. When they talk about dilation, it means something's going to go up like this. So if you don't believe me, graph something. Graph under those. Graph f of x is equal to it's equal to sine of x. Okay, graph on a decimal. And if I have f of x equal to 2 sine of x, what? You can graph on the bottom, just graph 2 f of x. Graph on a decimal, so graph 2 f of x. You're gonna see that graph is gonna dilate up and down. It's called vertical dilation. Now, can it be horizontal dilation? Yes, it can. If you have 2 inside, it's gonna be a horizontal dilation. Or horizontal stretch. I call it horizontal stretch. But the vertical dilation is 2 in the front versus 2 in the inside. So graph on a decimal. Figure your decimal out. Try to graph it. Just graph f of x equal to sine of x. I'm still waiting for my iPad to choose to update at this moment. I don't know why. So graph 2 to the f of x. Do you see that it's twice as tall?
But I probably stay the same.
Get your phone out. It's okay. You can use your phone.
Where did you go for that?
Because we're going to deal with sine of the graph and cosine of graph, and secant of graph, tangent of graph. So eventually you have to see this. 2, but in trigonometry, we didn't call it the dilation, we call it the amplitude. But they have different names, so that's 4. Try to graph 2 to the try to graph f of 2x. See what happens. Now this is not exactly expanding, it's actually going compressing. Sorry, I said it wrong earlier. It's actually compressed by 2. You see f of x, f of 2x, you're graphing on the decimals, what do you see? 2 f of x.
That to yes,
That is exactly f prime of x. Waiting for my I could decide to upload in the morning. It's halfway there. Okay, so this is the right one. This is up to this is dilated by 4. And this is reflections. So you gotta know all the things. On AP exam, they'll ask you specific things happen. You gotta recognize this is what happened. Is that okay? Okay. So you guys can try it on the decimals. The very, very important thing is you gotta be able to do it on decimals. I'm gonna show you a question on decimals that you can cheat on SAT. So, I'm gonna text you. I'm airdrop. So I'm gonna teach you how to use that function. Because unlike SAT, you can actually cheat with the decimals, not cheat, but I give it to you decimal. So this is the one of the question I teach. Hold on, let me see if I can. Did somebody turn on my echo? If you turn on the airdrop, I can airdrop you a question. I want you to look at this particular questions. Waiting for my iPad to update. I want to talk about those questions. Yeah, did you receive it? Now you're allowed to use decimals on these questions. How would you do it with decimals? You guys receive it? This is actual SAT practice. Waiting my iPad to update, so talk about something. You gotta be able to average rate of change. You gotta be able to do dilation. You gotta be able to do this questions. Why is this question so special? Because if you know how to do it the right way, you can do it in literally. You receive it. You tell me your airdrop, I can send it to you. Yeah, I send it to one iPad.
you want to
post on a group chat. Yeah, phone. Okay, I want you to see if you can find an answer for this one. Meanwhile, waiting for my iPad to update. Brandon, can you send it to? Oh, he already put on a group. Somebody put on a group chat. Does anybody know how to do this question? To do it by hand takes about a while. Is it updating yet? Oh, you finished. Yay. Anybody know how to solve it? Don't just look at me. Think. You're allowed to use decimals. How would you use it? It says y. So y equal to 2x squared minus 21x plus 64. Y equal to 3x plus 4. Anybody know how to use it? Three x plus a, sorry. How do you find the graph of equation of this? And what is value of x? Right, I can ask you what to find average rate of change on the first function between 1 to 5. Plug in 5 minus plug in 1, subtract divided by 5 minus 1 is 4. And you can actually evaluate that using the things. I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? Did anybody find the answer, by the way? Do you guys find the x? So why do you say 6?
Use the slider. I used it to where at one point.
Oh, very impressive. Good job, Julia. She actually solved the problem. That's good. Nobody here was able to solve the problem, but Julia can. I didn't think anybody can do it, but she did it. So there is a function on decimals. It's called slider. And the slider is going to become your best friend because can solve those difficult questions that no one knows how to do it. Because you're allowed to use slider, and that slider, and she says intersect, she pointed out one thing that's very important. Intersect exactly 1 point because of one solution. She knows that to intersect exact 1 point. Now that part I didn't have problem that she figured out. I didn't think anybody know how to use slider, which is a lot of you guys don't know how to use slider. I'm going to show you how to use slider. What she said was exactly correct. So I'm going to type in the function. So y is equal to 2x squared minus 21x plus 64. And she graphed this. and you, oh, sorry, that's 2. And this one's x, sorry. So it's gonna have this graph, right? And she says y equal to 3x plus a. And then you add a slider. Do you see that add a slider part? Do you see that part? You can add a slider. And once you add a slider, what she says was actually moving the a value, right? Until it intersects only 1 point, which is roughly at 8. But that's not what the question is asking. She not only get that part right, she also get the next part right, because the question is asking what is the x value. So you can see that x value is 6. And that's it. It's a very difficult problem if you do it by hand. But she did it without anything. Just use slider. Slider is your friend on your SAT. If you know how to use that slider, you can solve like the more difficult question. But first of all, in order to get to more difficult question, because the adaptive test on SAT, that first module, you have to get it flawless. Like they ask you slope, they ask you what a y-intercept mean, they ask you what an x-intercept mean, they ask you how to graph a line, how to do system equation. You have to do it perfectly. Once you do it perfectly, then you get to see the harder question will be question like this. And then you can use Desmos to help you accomplish your problem. By the way, Desmos can help you find a mean, an average of few values. Do you guys know that? If you just type in mean and just type in 12, comma 20, they find that mean is 16. You don't even need to know well, how do you find the average? You can actually do this on SAT. You can actually find the mode. Well, actually, I think that's fine. Median. You can actually find the median. Just type in median between 12 and 20 and 21. Sorry, comma 21. It should be 20. So they actually can find mean, median, mode. Hold on, let me see if I can find mode. I don't think you can find mode. I don't know. Mode's too easy. Yeah, mode cannot do it. Mean and median. You can actually do that. Okay, so let's go back. Start talking about trigonometry. Sorry, my iPad need things. So I'm going to talk about on SAT. There's also one type of question: how to convert degree to angle, radians. So there was 2 type of measurement. So first of all, let's talk about angle. So an angle, it has the side. It's called initial side, and it has another side. It's called terminal side. So usually go with initial to terminal like this. So there's an angle delta. But this data represents what? Angles. Angle has 2 types. What are the 2 types? 2 types of angle that you guys know. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, but it could be. Yes, Robert. No, that's not what I'm looking for. It's not wrong, but that's not what I'm looking for. There's 2 type of measurement of angle, like on your calculator. What are those 2 type? Yes. Degrees and radians. Okay, so there was a degrees, and there's a radian. But the funny thing is nobody knows what is radians. Does anybody know what radian is? Nobody knows what radian is? It's okay, you're not the only one. After first year teaching pre-cal, I still don't know what radian is. I'm not gonna be embarrassed to tell you, but you guys need to know what a 1 radian is. 1 radian, write it down, is equal to roughly 57.3 degrees. Now I want you guys to think about why is 57.3 degrees? Anybody know? Why do you think that's a 57.3 degrees? This is the reason why I didn't even know for after first year teaching. I didn't even know it's 57.3 degree. Armin's typing the calculator. What are you typing? By what? What'd you get though? No. Try it again. 360 divided by 57.3. Does that remind you of something? 6.28. Who says what?
That's double pi.
Double pi, good job. Double pi. So what does that mean? That means there's a circle, right? And obviously the circle has a center. So you might want to write it down the center here. And this center has some has a radius, or whatever that radius is. Right? Now, if this length of the blue line, I'm gonna say this is a blue line, it's equate to the exactly the red line. Exactly the red line. So this is a 3 centimeter, and this is the 3 centimeter. This opening is always the same. We're gonna call it 1 radian, because that 1 radian represents the major central angle that intercept our arc length exactly equal to radius of the circle. So if this is 3 centimeter, this is 3 centimeter, that opening exactly same like radius, that exactly is equal to this, then that's the 1 radian. And that's why what he did, 360 divided by 57.3 is 6.28, because the whole circle is, so the whole circle is how many radians? 2 pi radians. And that's equal to 6.28 radians. Does that make sense? So that means it has 6 exactly central angle. 6.28 of exact central angle. If you know, if most of you guys don't know what that is, you guys can look it up, something called Veritasium. Veritasium is a YouTuber. He actually cut up all the pizza crusts, and that pizza crust of taking the whole pizza crust. So you take the whole pizza, right? And you take all those crusts right here. And you go align to all, like how many pizza they are. So you're gonna find out exactly the ratio. Circumference is exactly, circumference equal to what? Do you guys know what circumference equal to? 2 pi r? What was that? Okay, exactly 2 pi r. So that means this 6.28 pi. 6.28 radius. Okay, so C equal to 2 pi r. Do you guys know this? Do you guys know what is pi? 3.14, but how do you get a value of pi? All you guys in high school, nobody knows how to find a value of pi? Yes, Aiden? What is it?
It's circumference divided by
There we go. Circumference divided by diameter. You guys don't know how to find the value of pi, and you guys are in high school, and that's kind of sad. Circumference divided by diameter. If you don't believe me, look up here. I actually teach this to third grade kids outside of school, of course. So I take the diameter of a circle for a sun and circumference. Huh? Board's frozen. Let me restart the board. Okay, circumference of the sun. So if I take this, right? Can you guys work it out? Divided by the circumference, which is 2715396, divided by 864,938, and tell me what is it? Take those two values divided by each other. Take the circumference of the Earth divided by diameter of the Earth. What'd you guys get? As you guys can see, right? Take the circumference of the Earth divided by diameter of the Earth. What'd you get? 3.14. So next time when I ask you, if you come in from my class and you don't know where the pi from, you don't know what pi is, I'll beat the shit out of you. If you still don't know and you finish pre-calc and you don't know how do you get value of pi, it doesn't matter how big the circle is or how small the circle. Look up the sun, right? Look up the Earth. Let's look it up. Type in the Earth here. I can't really type in. Where's my keyboard? It's not coming up. How do I get my keyboard again? There we go. Earth. So we say, hey, Earth's much smaller, so the pi should be much smaller. No. Take the 25,000 miles is the circumference divided by 7915. What'd you get? 3.5? Huh? 3.15. It's almost 3.14. The pi doesn't matter how big. If you take this cup and you take the circumference divided by diameter, it's always exactly 3.14 if this is constructed perfectly. So you have to know where the value of pi is. So there we go, it's pi. Okay. Now, how do you convert from degree to radian, radian to degrees? You need to know that for SAT. So radian to degrees and degrees to radian. How do you convert from one thing to the other? So let's just say if I have, you have to know this, pi radian is equal to 180 degrees. So if you know that's true, you can actually form a two conversion ratio. It'll be 180 degrees over pi radian, or pi radian over 180 degrees. So that just say if I have pi over 3, and I say I want to convert to degrees, does anybody know what pi over 3 converted to degree is? How do I convert pi over 3 to degrees? Well, first of all, this is a radian, right? Usually I don't write it down. It's kind of like given, but I write it down there here. So you want to choose the right one to multiply. You want to choose either this one or this one. Which one I should multiply by? And can cancel out the pi radian. Why the first one?
You have pi radian on the top and pi radian.
Pi radian on the top, and you have pi radian on the bottom. Thank you. So this pi radian, usually I don't have to write down radian, but pi radian cancel out, that's going to be 60 degrees. Now, if I take it to 60 degrees, I want to convert back to pi radian. How do I do it? Which one do I multiply? Second one, because 180 degree pi radian. Have you guys learning about chemistry? It's called stoichiometry, dimension analysis. That's how you convert from one unit to the other unit. So this degrees can cancel out. That's going to be 1/3 pi. And again, I don't have to write down radian. From now on, I'm not going to write radian. But you have to understand what 1 radian is. How do you get the value of pi? How do you get those things? So I want you to convert 72 degrees to radians. And I want you to convert pi over 6 to degrees. And this could be simple SAT questions. Very simple SAT questions. They can say, hey, what is the degree measurement of pi over 3 radians? And what is radian measurement if I have 72 degrees? That's exactly words that they're going to say. You got to be able to convert from one thing to the other things. Rylan, if you don't do homework again, then I'm going to have to call your mom again. If I have you fast out on your mom. Actually, matter of fact, just let me text her now. If I forget. Wait, one more time. Make sure you stay on top of the homework. Do you guys know how to convert it? It should be simplified fraction as well. Can you simplify all the way? Michael, what's the 72 degrees? Oops, hold on a second. Nope. Wait, where's my thing? (72°). What is a radians? Merly?
Almost there. I just didn't finish the simplifying fraction.
Andrew? What? 1/2.5. That's a very crappy math. But it's probably not wrong. Pi radian. Now again, I don't need to write radian anymore. I just gonna write down pi over 180. Is that okay? So what is 72 degrees over 180? What? 0.4, which is what? 2/5. You guys need to know how to simplify a fraction. You divide it by 36. You divide it by 36. That's equal to 2/5. So 2/5 pi.
If you write like that, I wrote it 2 pi over 5.
2 pi over 5 is fine. You can write either way. What is pi over 6? 30. Good job. So that is going to be pi. Now I don't write down radian anymore. It's going to be 180. This is going to cancel out. So that's going to be 30 degrees. Is that okay? One last formula you guys need to know is S equal to R theta. What is S and what is R? What is theta? S is the arc length. R is the radius. Theta is what? Central angle, but this one's not in degree. This one is in radians. So that just say if I have arc length and I have arc length of 12 pi, right? So we're gonna say arc length equal to 12 pi. And the radius is equal to 6 pi. So what will be the theta? It'll be 2 what? 2 radians. Okay. Yeah, another homework you can do.
Yeah, I did
I'm
that
gonna,
on test.
huh?
I did that on test.
I don't know. You did better on the first test. This is your first test. You want to look at your first test? That's because you don't. That's because you didn't do any homework.
Everyone did that on. I said the whole last week I was doing the practice test over and over again.
You gotta make sure you don't miss anything. You're the only person that have to watch it over, so. Yeah.
I like that thing. I need to use paper handy.
Yes. Finish.
Ready?
I supposed to give it to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Alright, thank you.
I didn't write anything bad.
No, you didn't. Thank you.
Huh?
Someone dropped their notebook.
Just keep it in the bag. Thank you.
Yeah, I can't understand how you don't eat meat.
How do I don't eat meat?
I can't understand it.
Because I was born with not eating meat.
Very humble. I take that shit back. What?
Did you guys do your homework?
Calculator came in yesterday, and I worked for like hours, so I got back and I did as much as I could. I could all. It's not an excuse to make a shit.
I didn't know about it until like 10 o'clock last night.